Hello. Sorry, I need to figure out what I want to talk about. What do you want to talk about? I mean, on the air, but like in general, what do people want to know? Um, Anything new with Jimi Hendrix? I know it's crazy. He's been dead forever, but you never know. Sometimes something pops up, they'll like release a pedal or that Jimi Hendrix comic book looked really cool. Excuse me, graphic novel, because it really was. I mean, this thing was like 100 pages or something, and it was like massive and hardcover and stuff. So it truly was a graphic novel. Um, But no, it doesn't look like he's got anything, which is weird because, ahead of the Christmas holiday and all the gift-giving season, you would think that the Jimi Hendrix estate would be releasing something, but no. Hmm. Oh, well. I wonder if I should do the Tom Petty thing again. I feel like I've mentioned this Tom Petty bootleg maybe one too many times. But also, I keep forgetting that the vast majority of people who listen to the radio are only listening for like 10 minutes at a time. So if I said something at 2:30 today, no one listening at 5:30 remembers it at all. So there's that. Um, all right, I guess it is going to be about the Edinburgh bootleg. Edinburgh. Edinburgh. That's how I say it, right? Edinburgh. Do we have any Scottish people here to help me out with the pronunciation of Edinburgh? Hi, Chew. How you doing? Where was I? Mm-mm-mm. Nope, I wasn't there. If anybody has not yet, hi, Justine. If you have not, if you're in the Bay Area, first of all, and you want to go see Exodus tomorrow night, because it's Thursday today, right? God, I can't believe it's Thursday already. Boom. It was like today dragged and dragged, and then it went whoosh. Not today, the week. The week was like word salad. Good evening. I'm good. I basically have been going home, eating dinner, and going to bed every night. I'm living like a grandma. Go home, eat a salad, go to bed early. Although I did start watching another British murder series. I am addicted to British murder series. Um, Although the last one I watched was French. There's this French murder series on Netflix, I think, and it was called Le Forêt, the forest. And it was good. It was good. It wasn't like, oh my God, good, but it was still really good. And I really liked it. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, yeah. So the new British murder series, I'm only halfway through because that's the beauty of them, right? They're only like 6 or 8 episodes. So you can, but they are 6 or 8 episodes. So whereas like a whole long series or something that's got multiple seasons is like way too much for me to commit to right now. But I also want something that's like in small pieces. So I don't want to watch a whole movie because I don't have 2-3 hours at a clip. But I probably have just enough time for like 2 40-minute episodes. And then I can kind of get into it and I can watch a couple episodes a night for like 2-3 nights in a row and still get to bed early. Because sleep is my favorite thing right now. You know what, Justine? Keep an eye on the sales because I don't know where you get your. Hi, Kardik. Hi, Dan. You're still standing? Are you quoting Elton John? Oh, because you're up in the. Well, you're inland. You're so far inland, Dan. You guys probably just thought like a meth lab was blowing up in Chico, right? Like you were all like, "Whoa!" But no tsunami warning, and I mean, it had to be. God, it had to be almost 200 miles from you, right? Because it was almost 100 miles offshore. The earthquake. Um, but Justine, what I was going to say is keep an eye on Amazon because they have sales. If Amazon is where you get your stuff, or just keep an eye in general, like on the sale sites because I get BritBox every once in a while, and I'll just add it on for like a trial period, or they'll have like a 6-month sale and be like 6 months of BritBox for like $5 or $2 a month or whatever it is. Oh, thanks, Kardik. Appreciate that. It's all this extra sleep. I look so much younger. It's also good lighting in here. I don't like the lights up too high. You felt the aftershocks too? Yeah. Yeah, all is well. If you are somebody who doesn't live in the Bay Area, or if you're somebody who does live in the Bay Area, you already got all the calls and texts from your friends that don't live in the Bay Area that have no idea how far away that earthquake was from us. But shut up, 30, you lie. I'm 52, almost 53. And when I say almost 53, that's because I always tell myself how old I am for the next year so that when it finally gets here, I'm not freaked out about it. And then I forgot where I was because I just had a birthday, and I think I've turned 52. Oh, well, anyway, so I'm sitting here earlier today, and we're recording my podcast with Steve Gorman, and we're talking about how like nobody cares about the birthday after 50, right? Because he's turning 60 next year. And I was like, it's kind of a round number. You might have to do a thing. And he was like, and I was like, I know. I turned 50 something a couple weeks ago, and it was like no big deal because I don't even remember if I'm 52 or 53 or 50, whatever right now. I'm 52 or 53. It's one of the two. I'll have to stop and do the math for a second to realize it. But yeah, clean living. No, it's not clean living at all. Not even a little bit. Although I guess this week I've been living super clean, right? I had a spinach omelet today, and yesterday I had a tuna salad and a spinach salad. So I guess I have been like crazy clean living lately. But then also on Thanksgiving, I went hog wild, emphasis on the hog. So I guess balance. Balance is my secret. Rock and roll is what keeps you young. That and I don't have children. Ugh, kids will age you like crazy. I remember running into this girl that I'd known since 3rd grade. And she had like 3 fucking kids. 3. She had like 3 kids. When I ran into her, I was like 25. And I'm like, oh my God, look at all the children you have. She was Mormon. So like, it wasn't even a thing, but for me, and she's like, yeah, do you have any kids? And I was like, my God's no. Oh, how would I, why would no, why would I do that? I'm 25. And then she was like, and I was like, sorry. Yeah. So, but anyway, point being, she looked old. We were like 25 at the time, and I swear she looked 40. And it's because she had 3 kids already, and she was planning to have 3 or 4 more in the next, I don't know how many years. I don't think I've seen her since then, actually. So, or maybe I have seen her and I didn't recognize her because she aged so much. I thought she was somebody's grandma. I don't know. You know what? She's totally somebody's grandma now, right? Because those kids now are all in their 30s. Now I wonder who looks younger, me or her kids. No, that's weird. That is really weird. No, a lot of this is lighting. I'm joking. A lot of this is lighting. Although I don't have a ring light or anything, but the lights are dimmed in here, and I notice it looks pretty decent at this angle. See, like if I tilt my head down, you can see I'm a little tired still. This is permanent, actually. There's pictures of me as a child, and you can see the bags under my eyes, like the circles under my eyes, like that's right. It's all about angles. You need the good angle, the good lighting. Yeah. You ever seen those? I'm not a big fan of Us Magazine in general, or like celebrity hounding rags in general, but they do catch me every once in a while with like the pictures of celebrities in real life without makeup on. And you're like, who is this person? And you absolutely do not recognize them because they have like porn star levels of makeup on all the time when you see them. So that if you do see them out in the wild, you don't know who they are because they look like an average person. And you're like, what? That's Kylie Jenner? No. No. But the earthquake, right? So the earthquake was a 7.0, which is huge. But I mean, like, people still like to argue about Loma Prieta, but the big 89 quake was in the 6.8, 6.9 range. And because it's an algorithm, which everyone knows what is now, but back then nobody knew what an algorithm was. Every time you go from like every point up you go is like 10 times stronger than the point before. So a 6.8 quake or a 6.9 quake is 10 times stronger than a 6.8 quake. But anyway, so Loma Prieta was centered in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and it ended up doing huge amounts of damage because it rippled all the way out into the Bay Area where we were all on top of each other. And we have too much construction in the area. And a lot of it was not yet retrofitted. And this one was centered almost 100 miles off the coast, first off. And it was way up north. Like, it was closer to Eureka than it was to anywhere in the Bay Area. So, and it happened on low tide, which I think is what saved us from the tsunami. Like, I think, I don't know the exact time that it happened, but I kind of looked it up, and I think it was within an hour of the lowest point in the tide. So I think that all of those factors helped it be pretty minimal as far as damage goes. We all got real lucky. So it's definitely time for us to reassess our earthquake preparedness, because had that been anywhere else, if that had happened here in the Bay, we would be in deep shit. And all of those texts I got today going, "Are you okay?" would have been not answered, because I probably would have been buried under the rubble. Or maybe not. I mean, I'm inland, right? I would have been at home in Concord. I definitely would not have made it into the station. Remember in 89 when the Bay Bridge broke? Although, to be fair, the Bay Bridge broke going home. It broke eastbound, not westbound. So I probably still could have come in, and then I would have had to have taken the Golden Gate or the San Mateo Bridge home. But who wants to do that? Yeah, whodunit movies are the best, dude. I never got into NCIS, which is weird because I forensics, but I don't know. NCIS felt a little too neatly wrapped up with a bow. You know, even now I'm a little not, I'm still into the new Law and Order, the rebooted Law and Order, but it's not as good as the older Law and Order. Like, I feel like the characters just aren't as fun or interesting or believable. And the stories do seem to wrap up a little too neatly. Whereas before, in the original Law and Order, like, people would just get away with murder, like, literally. And now it's like no one gets away with anything. And before, they would have all these things where, like, the bad guy would win, kind of thing. And you were like, oh shit, what? And that was the cool thing about Law and Order, was you couldn't predict who it was until I'd seen them all so many times that I actually could predict who it was just from seeing the body. 'Cause I'm crazy. Hey, Rodney. I do eat a lot of fruits and vegetables because they're delicious. Also, because I have no refrigeration. So at the moment, I can't eat any meat because I wouldn't be able to refrigerate it. Um, Thanks, Red. Yeah, earthquake was nowhere near me. Hey, Russ, acid and nitrous. You were there that night. Yeah, the first time I ever did nitrous, I was on acid at the time. It's probably why I didn't really enjoy the nitrous. And it kind of ruined my trip too. I remember being in the back seat of the car and then just going invisible. Ugh. And I remember you guys dragging me back to Annapurna over and over to get more whippets because you kept running out. And I was like, I'm good. I don't want any more of those things. Acid is my jam. I'm good. But I can't do the acid anymore. I haven't done acid in 30 years. A, I don't have time. B, I don't have time to recover afterwards. More of a mushrooms kid now. Hey, Russ, how you doing? Are you back in the States or are you like in the Philippines still? Kardik, you'd be a terrible Mormon. I think a lot of people would be a terrible Mormon. Um, oh, thanks, Justine. I'm not fishing for compliments though. I just it's just a facial factor. You know, you can see it on me when I'm a kid. It's just it's the way I'm shaped. I have not had plastic surgery for anyone curious. I do usually do a little Botox in my forehead, but that's all worn out right now. I did just buy the new Botox. I got to go in and get it shot in there, but that's about it. Everything else is where it is. Justine, you did a book report about the 1906 quake. Yeah, it's sad because every year on the anniversary of the 1906 quake, the city of San Francisco would get up at the time the quake happened and commemorate the quake. And well, they don't do that anymore because there would always be like a quake survivor there. There used to be a bunch of quake survivors. It'd be like, here's so and so, and here's so and so, and here's so and so. And now there are no more quake survivors. So I think they might still get up early and do it, but I don't get up early to hear it. But also, it used to be a big thing on radio, and so Nicole, hi, sweetheart. Oh, thank you. Lorena, oh my God, Jesse, dude, it's like Fairfield up in the house here right now. What's going on? No quakes here. Yeah, but Jesse, you moved to hurricane territory, so please. How many times a year do you have to pack up and like deal with hurricane shit versus how many times every like several years I have to deal with earthquake stuff, right? Hang on a second. I gotta do this first and then I'll do that. Okay. It's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers on 107.7 The Bone. I'm Nikki Blakk, and on Record Store Day, they did a 7,000 unit pressing on vinyl of what they're calling Live in Edinburgh 1982, the Gennaro tapes. Now, that is supposed to be like the quintessential Tom Petty bootleg because their sound guy, Gennaro Rippo, was bootlegging all their shows at that time. And this is supposedly one of his favorites that literally went from the bootleg cassette to the vinyl pressing. It wasn't remixed. It wasn't remastered. It wasn't touched up. It was just pure raw Tom Petty live. So before it sells out, you might want to try and find a copy. I should try and find a copy. Okay. That's out of the way. Now I need to do the thing for the boss. Yeah, Loma Prieta took out a lot of things, dude. I miss the Embarcadero Freeway. That used to be how I knew all that was how I started my directions into San Francisco because I got my license like right before I got my license in a car right before the 89 quake. I think let's see. I got my license in June and the quake was in October. So I'd barely been driving for 6 months, but obviously I was driving into San Francisco all the time. And that's how I found my way around the city was taking the Embarcadero Freeway exit because I was afraid of all the other exits. And then after the earthquake, I couldn't take that exit anymore. And I was very confused. I had to take 9th Street and it was completely different. I mean, if you can imagine, right, coming off the Embarcadero and then going from that side of town everywhere versus coming off South of Market on 9th Street and then going on that side of town. I was like, I used to get lost nonstop because let's face it, we didn't have GPS back then. We didn't even have MapQuest back then, dude. We had literal paper maps that you had to pick up at the AAA or buy at a gas station. All right, hang on a second, guys. I got to do this thing. Wow, that went through too easy. Now I'm nervous. Oh, looks good. Okay. Almost. And dunsies. All right. What was the other thing I was going to do? Oh, right. Sponsor. Okay. Kartik, throw in wine, hot tea, and heavy metal. Yes, I like all of those things. Plus coffee. What's going on over here? Lorraine, you guys had to evacuate? Wow. Also, can you say Coos Bay without being all Coos? uh, thanks, Jacob. I hope you find one that wants kids, because it ain't me. Hi, Davy. Well, Jacob, it probably has nothing to do with the music. Lord Farquadzilla. What is that? Writing on most TV shows today are garbage. Yes. You watch the stuff you grew up on? You know, I find good programming, and when I do, I get obsessed with it, but it is few and far between. And it's funny because you would think that programming would be more popular, but also it's what negates cable. Like I barely have watched anything on the major networks in years. Jacob, you need to ask the hot chick what's up. We don't do Ask a Hot Chick anymore. But Pandora and I have talked about trying to resurrect it, but it's gonna be long into the future if that's a possibility. Justine, you were listening to Chasta and there were so many commercials. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I'm sure no, the station was not abandoned. I think that we just didn't mention the quake because it really was so far away. And even though we had a tsunami warning, the tsunami warning got recalled really fast. So it just didn't seem to make sense, you know? Hi, Kevin. You're on your way home from the city? How's traffic? I am planning to go to the Friday Death Angel show, but I accidentally have a flight on this Saturday Death Angel show. I got to be more careful at the end of the year because this happened to me last year too. But here I am. But I do plan on going on Friday. Jesse, you think you can run from a hurricane? Good luck. I haven't had to run from an earthquake, like, ever. Where were you guys during Loma Prieta? I just shook like this. This was Loma Prieta for me in Fairfield. And today, I have a friend who was in Oakland when the earthquake hit, and she was like, "Did you feel that earthquake?" And I was like, "Nah, I was on the treadmill." And she's like, "I was sitting in my car in the parking lot, and my car started doing like a shaky bit." And I was like, "Yeah." Do I know about Tom Petty's other band, Mudcrutch? I've seen Mudcrutch live, Dan. They played at the Fillmore. I worked Tom Petty with Mudcrutch. Oh, I know. I'm cooler than I sound. Every once in a while, I can pull something out of my pocket like that and be like, heard of him, met him. Kardik, what did I say supposedly to? Because I don't remember now. That sounds amazing, but aren't bootlegs illegal? Well, bootlegs are only illegal if you're not authorized to sell them. So this was the sound guy bootlegging the band, and then with the band's obvious knowledge and permission. And then decades later, half a century later, he is working in conjunction with the estate of Tom Petty and with the Heartbreakers to release this. So it's an authorized bootleg. So it was bootleg up until it became authorized. If he had sold it before that, it would have been bootleg, which would have technically been illegal. But I mean, there's a whole bootleg industry out there that people just look the other way on. Huge. Tape trading. Oh my God. Tape trading is how Metallica got famous. There's a whole taper section at hippie shows, and then hippies just live to trade tapes of. There are some people out there listening to nothing but bootlegs, is what I'm trying to say, depending on your genre of music, especially with jam bands, because they're jamming, right? So it's a different show every night. So that's the appeal to the bootlegs with those bands. Red, you've only had hurricanes? Sorry. Tornado warnings. Oh, we have had tornado warnings out here, and they freak me out. I'm not down with the tornado warnings. Is New England stable? Because I feel like you guys just got decimated by Hugo. And then what was there was one that was just this. There was one that was recent. And then there was one that started with an S. What was that? I can't remember. But I feel like the Eastern Seaboard has been pretty well pounded over the decades. Marlon, I'm glad your garage still smells like mesquite. Congrats, dude. Although that would make me want to barbecue every day. Kardik, I'm not sure is I said supposedly about. So I don't know how much doubt to acknowledge or deny, because I don't see in the context of what I was talking about at the time that you said that you made that comment. So what did I say supposedly about? And I'll tell you how supposedly it is. Because when I say supposedly, that could just mean I heard it from someone else. I didn't hear it firsthand. So supposedly, allegedly, what a guy told me once was what had happened was. That's usually how I use supposedly. Christopher, the Niners are garbage. Well, I'm going to disagree on that. The Niners aren't garbage. The Niners are just losing a lot of games. They're not. The players individually, I'm telling you, my money is still on Brock Purdy every time. Something is definitely wrong with the team. There's something going on that needs to be fixed, but I wouldn't call them garbage. When you say a team is garbage, it implies that you need like a ground up overhaul. And I don't think that's what we need. Of course I've seen the Penguin, Christopher. What do you mean I should see the Penguin? I saw the Penguin, and I got to tell you, I kind of saw that ending coming. I can't remember what it was before, but somebody else did that exact same ending. Oh, hang on a second. What is this? What is happening here? Oh. Okay, there we are. Fix that. Back. But the Penguin is still very good. It does start to have some pacing problems, and it also kind of has some plot holes, some things where I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I have a feeling that there was more to the story and that somebody cut them short on time. And so I think that I think I think it suffered for a lack of continuity with whatever it is that they took out. Which reminds me, speaking of lack of continuity and suffering, the final season of Yellowstone. What the fuck, man? I cannot with these time jumps. I get it. You know, you guys got into a big fight with Kevin Costner and you decided to pull him out of the whole season at the last minute. Fine. But you know what? You guys are professional editors. You guys are professional filmmakers or TV makers. And there's no excuse for how badly they Frankenstein this last season together. Okay. The strike has been over for a year and a half. There's no excuse for this. Like, please, like, for the love of, I almost can't even watch it. And it's getting super preachy too. I don't know if you noticed that. There's like a freaking soliloquy in every episode of like, don't let artists and craftsmen die out. And, you know, the problem with people is that they don't understand that there's two sides to a story. You know, it's like, thank your husband for doing what he does, ma'am. I eat steak too. You know, shit like that. And it's like, come on, don't patronize us. We're not that stupid. And then I realized, oh, a lot of people really are that stupid. I'm sorry. Never mind, Yellowstone. Carry on. But here's the thing. If you assume that your audience is so stupid that they're going to fall for these like vacant platitudes, then also assume that they are way too stupid to keep up with the time jumps the way you keep going back and forth. That's all. Hang on a second. It's Skinner on 107.7 The Bone. I'm Nikki Blakk, and this hour is sponsored by LifeSource Water Systems. Families have been loving LifeSource Water for 40 years, and now when you buy LifeSource, they pay your sales tax. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com. And soon. What a weird sponsor. Hi, Christopher. Oh, that it was Tom Petty's sound guy saying this bootleg is his favorite. That is something I heard secondhand. So that is why I said supposedly. I have not read it firsthand. I heard it from someone and I have not been able to verify it. So That is why I said supposedly. But I mean, it tracks, right? Here, let me see what I read with the Tom Petty estate. The estate posted something about it. Tom Petty estate. I think it was at tompetty.com. Let me see. tompetty.com. Now it was a Tom Petty fan that told me that. But where is it? There it is. And then I also read the Tom Petty blurb on it. So, unique bootleg performance recorded by house sound mixer Gennaro Rippo, taped at the band show in Edinburgh. Yada yada, etc., etc. So they collaborated with Jack White's Third Man Records, and it was their idea to have something raw and unpolished from the band in their golden era. This release marks the first and only Petty live recording that hasn't been touched since the day it was captured, pressed directly from cassette to vinyl, provided by their beloved sound mixer, Gennaro Rippo. The band used to enjoy listening to the cassette tapes after shows in what they would affectionately call Gennaro's Hawaiian Disco, often giving him the presidential suite in the hotel so that the band could hang out in his room and listen every night. This previously unreleased show is available, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, so I can't confirm it. So that's why I said supposedly. So I heard it from a fan that this was one of the sound guy's favorites. The Edinburgh tapes are like legend among Petty fans. And there you go. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dan. I did not see Mudcrutch originally. I saw Mudcrutch when Tom Petty got back together with Mudcrutch and did some shows at the Fillmore. So I don't remember what year that was. Maybe it was like 2015. It was either in the 10 year, it was either in the 5 years before I started working full time at the Bone, or in the 7 years after I started working full time at the Bone. Before this 2 years that I've been working full time at the Bone again. No, God, no, Justine. No one is trying to get away with anything when it comes to this Tom Petty thing. It's, in fact, it's a record store day release, so you can only get it at a local record store. The record stores are allowed to sell them online, but it was only distributed to actual record stores. It's not, you can't get it at like Best Buy or whoever still sells music anymore. Cardiff Metallica rules. Lars was 100% right about Napster. Metallica has always been pro bootlegging. They've had taper sections. In fact, when Metallica played at the Fillmore, I can't remember if they did it every time they played at the Fillmore, but I definitely remember there being a taper section for Metallica at the Fillmore. I think it was during those shows that were Robert's first shows with the band. But don't quote me on that. I think that's supposedly, my memory serves. It was supposedly it was Robert's first shows, I think, is when it happened. It might have happened multiple times. I just only vaguely remember it because the Fillmore is so small, and they were like, we need a taper section. And we were like, you're Metallica. Where are we going to put the taper section? We were like, you can have a taper section, but it's, look at your front of house, buddy. Where do you want your taper section to go? I remember it was something like that. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if it's the sound guy's favorite bootleg. I know that this is supposedly a bootleg that is legend among Tom Petty fans, which is something that a Tom Petty fan told me. So that is why it is supposedly. I have not confirmed it by any second source, which is why, so take that for what it's worth. Typically, the journalistic standard is you don't report something as news until you've confirmed it from 2 different sources. And I have not confirmed this from any official sources. I've only gotten this from fan scuttlebutt. So it's basically rumor. Yeah, it's not annoying. I mean, feel free to ask me to clarify anything. I just need more context of what I'm clarifying so that I can do it. I don't mind. Tony, back in 95, you found a bootleg video of Death Angel filmed at the Mabuhay. What? Nice. Vintage. Yeah, Japanese in Japan, there's like a whole new, it's like the wild, wild west of bootlegs because apparently the laws allow them to have a lot of latitude when it comes to bootlegging. You'll get exhausted trying to collect bootlegs and variants if you consider Japanese releases. Like, oh yeah, Red. It's usually the blizzards that get you. See, we don't have blizzards here. We don't know what that means. The only blizzard I know is an ice cream shake or a. Who makes the blizzards? Is that a Dairy Queen thing? Dan, you could never watch Yellowstone. I liked Yellowstone. I enjoyed the first several seasons. You know why? Beth fucking Dutton. She makes that show, honestly. Also, I'm not going to pretend that there's not at least one of those sons that's in my spank bank. If I like the Penguin, Jacob, then check out Theodore Rossi, who plays in episode 7, The Doctor. Oh yeah, he's also in he was in the biker show. I'm blanking on it. Sons of Anarchy. The guy from Sons of Anarchy is who you're talking about. If he's the guy you're talking about, he was in a couple of different episodes as the Doctor. Unless you're talking about the other Doctor, not the Doctor that becomes friends with her, but the Doctor that admits her. Honestly, Dan, it's only the second half of the last episode that has these time jumps, and it's because of the dispute that they got into that with supposedly there was a big brouhaha between the show's creator, what's his name, Taylor Sheridan, something. The show's creator and Kevin Costner like got into it, and so they had already clearly filmed a lot of the season, and instead of reworking all of the season editing, it looks like they just went in and cut out all of his scenes and then did a couple of pickup shots and like just basically didn't care. They basically do not care about this last season. They're like, whatever, we're already out the door, we're on to something else, come watch our other shows because Yellowstone is dead, which sucks because like I said, I'm not mad at Kevin Costner, but Beth Dutton is what makes that show for me from start to finish. And it's kind of insulting the way that, we're having to watch this last season for the characters that are still there. I get that they built the show around Kevin Costner and that he's the big A-list Hollywood star and everything, but they had a really good ensemble cast on that show. And it's kind of insulting the way that they're letting it go out, in my humble opinion. Exactly, Red. You expect better from people and you don't get it. You were not annoying about anything, Kardik. You're fine. You're fine. Red, you've never heard of mud crutch, as in like crutches? Mud crutch? Yeah, I don't know what a mud crutch is, but it was Tom Petty's band before the Heartbreakers, I guess. And he resurrected the band at one point, and it was a whole thing. And they did shows at the Fillmore, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of people have never heard of it, which is why Dan was asking me if I'd heard of it. And I was like, heard of it? Psh, been there, done that, kid. Ride the Lightning bootlegs. That sounds cool. Metallica had taper sections. Yeah. Oh yeah, Tony. No, Metallica had taper sections like all the time. I'm just talking specifically about the Fillmore shows. Metallica definitely had taper sections for years and years and years, but they were playing arenas where you had an easy place to put a taper section, as opposed to the Fillmore, which is teeny tiny, little tiny Fillmore. Where are you going to tape off, right? Like we could barely fit the 1,000 people in there that you sold tickets to, plus your guests. So, and they had a huge front of house setup as well. You know, it wasn't like a typical little like, here's the board. No, they brought in their own shit. So it was like they took up a ton of space. It was a thing. It's fine. We figured it out. It was not my job to figure it out, so I don't know how the logistics went. I just remember seeing part of the conversation and thinking it was hilarious that we were trying to find more space so that people could stand there and record the show. We were like, maybe you just don't have a taper section this time. Maybe you just tell the tapers to just go in the back somewhere. Go stand in the back wherever you can. Right, Michelle? Beth Dutton makes that show. I don't think anybody understands how much every woman who watches that show is watching for Beth Dutton. Period. Kevin Costner is incidental, in my opinion, and frankly, a little stereotypical. Whoa. Did you hear that? Siri just agreed with me for no reason. Did I just miss something? No. Okay. Whew. Thought I screwed up. Oh, Jesus, did I? Oh, I guess I did. I missed like 17 comments. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry. I'm like, totes forgot I posted, it's my 2-year anniversary of returning to the station today. And some dude on my post comments, bring back the morning show. Fuck you, dude. Like, hi. Place, time, figure it out. Just go put that on other posts. Not my shit. But then I realized I collabed with the station on it, so he probably is just like putting it on everything that the station does, and is just, not bright enough to realize that none of us can bring back the morning show. If we had that power, if we had, that extra cash that we could just shit out to buy the morning show back, we would do it. But obviously we don't, because nobody wanted to not have our morning show. We love our morning show personally and professionally. People just don't get it. But sure, shit on my anniversary. Thanks. Hi, Mike. Oh, yeah. People just need to bag on Metallica because people need to have something to say. Yeah, Jacob. Yeah, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. He's really good in The Penguin. I liked him. Oh, gosh. I should have been paying attention to this. If I could, comma, I would, comma, but I can only do me. That's nice, right? That's not, fuck you, don't rain on my parade. Okay. Ooh. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, where's that thing? I need the name of it. There it is. I Can Breathe. I was gonna be like, Slash and Duff McKagan have a charity single called I Can't Breathe. And then I was like, nope, nope. That was from the guy who was selling cigarettes that got choked out by the NYPD. That can't be the name of it, and it's not, because I've got it wrong. Oh shoot. You know what though? I can't put, I gotta move that. Okay, there we go. That's better. Can't have Guns N' Roses back to back with Motley Crue. That's too much Hollywood. It's Guns N' Roses on 107.7 The Bone. I'm Nikki Blakk, and Guns N' Roses, Slash, and Duff have released a charity single called I Can Breathe. It's to benefit, oh, hold on. Apparently I did call it I Can't Breathe on my Facebook page, and I never corrected it. Silly me. 107.7 The Bone with Guns N' Roses and Sweet Child of Mine. I'm Nikki Blakk, and Slash and Duff from Guns N' Roses have a new charity single called I Can Breathe. And if you listen to it, I've posted up for you to check out on the socials. It sounds a lot like it should be a new Guns N' Roses song, but instead of Axl singing, it's Duff singing. And they've both been saying that Guns N' Roses are writing new music. So I have to wonder if this song is one that Axl just didn't want to sing. Okay. Okay. Yep, I just realized it's getting late and I can't stay late like I did yesterday. Yesterday, I didn't get anything to eat until like the wee hours and I was starving. I was like, thought my stomach was going to reach out and eat my spleen. And I hear you don't need your spleen, but still, I'd like to keep mine. Hey, Mike, I've been good. Oh, thanks, Sherry. Appreciate it. It's been a crazy 2 years, right? I mean, I get that the whole month of November has just been rough, right? And so here we are in December and it's my anniversary. Yay! I'm back. But it's coming on the heels of a lot of really distasteful changes with the country, with the industry, and then an earthquake. So, you know, I try to celebrate the little wins when I can. And it's been 2 years since I came back and it's kind of been awesome. You guys have been great. I mean, clearly this is in my blood or I wouldn't be doing it. I always tell people, don't get into radio unless you absolutely love it, because otherwise it will just rip your heart out and stomp on it. It will rip your heart out and stomp on it anyway, but at least you will have loved it. That's radio in a nutshell. Oh, Red, don't be shocked that there are girls that think Kevin Costner is gorgeous. Lots of people have daddy issues. I don't know if you've noticed. But no, Kevin Costner is not in my spank bank. No, it's one of the sons. I'm not going to tell you which one either. You can always just wonder. What are you talking about with Metallica, Kartik? They gave Dave credit on the songs he had a hand in writing. James and co are capable of writing riffs. All musicians borrow. It's how you make those motives. Sure. You're arguing a case I didn't make. People just need to talk about Metallica so that people hear them And nobody wants to be like, Metallica rules, because it's not a dissenting voice. There are a lot of people out there that are just contrarian because they feel like nobody's listening to them otherwise. So instead of having their own opinion, they just have the opposite of what the common opinion is, because that way people will be like, what? What'd you say? And then everybody's paying attention to them. Yeah. Oh, Jacob, I don't know what it is because I don't know the women you're talking about. So how would I know? I mean, there's way too many questions for me to like at this point. I can't assess why you can't meet women right now because we're wrapping it up. Dan, the only actor that annoys you is Tom Cruise. Oh, I'll bet you there's more that annoy you. You just haven't watched enough. Hi, Mike. Well, Jacob, you know what? I'm sure if you keep coming out to Bone events, you'll run into somebody. I mean, concerts are where I've met pretty much everybody I ever dated, including my ex-husband. I met him at an Anthrax show at the Warfield in 1993, and I was tripping balls on like 4 hits of acid. Oh my God. I was like white knuckle just standing there in the balcony, just like, no, I wasn't in the balcony. I was in that first tier above the pit. And I was right on the bar area rail. And I was just holding on for dear life. And it was just like everything was exploding. Yeah, that probably in hindsight should have been a red flag, but I thought it was like fate, right? I mean, you're tripping balls at an Anthrax concert, and out of nowhere you see one guy and you're like, he's hot. And then you end up meeting him. And then 5 years later, you end up dating him. And then 5 years after that, you end up marrying him. And then 5 years after that, you end up divorcing him. And you're like, there's a lesson here somewhere. Oh, well. Carlton, you're picking the dissenting opinion so that people will pay attention to you. Good one. I didn't even need you to put that in context. Dan, why would you DoorDash? Why would anyone DoorDash? Why would anyone spend like all that extra money just for food that you could just go pick up? You know, you could just go pick up food, right? 9 times out of 10, it's so easy to just go pick it up or cook. For God's sake, people need to learn how to cook. Hi, Marty. Yeah, we do not have time for politics tonight, brother. If you want to have that conversation, you got to jump in earlier because I'm already like way later than I usually like to be. I usually like to wrap this up by 6, but it was my fault for not starting until 5:30. So I will accept that responsibility. But also in the political realm, did you see how like France has gotten rid of their prime minister and now they have to appoint another one, and shit's going down in France right now. Okay, sorry. Oh yeah, don't please don't worry about that. The point behind that story, Kartik, was not how I'm divorced now. That was 2008. The point behind that story is how I was on 4 hits of acid at a concert and I still managed to meet somebody that I married. So I feel like concerts are where you meet your future exes and all of the people that you date. Like concerts to me are better than any app out there. Jesus, Justine, what do you mean in the 90s and you're already divorced? I met him in 93 and we got divorced in 08. That's a considerable amount of time. Oh, if you don't have a car, you can't drive, Justine, then I understand the DoorDash situation. Yeah, sorry. But also, only in the respect that if like you got no food in the house, right? Because we can all cook. You don't even have to cook, really. You just have to be able to chop stuff up and put it together in something for the most part. We should all learn to cook. I can't believe how much money I'm saving right now just eating nothing but salads because I don't have room for meat in my wine fridge. Oh, yeah. I mean, not until I eat all the cheese. And trust me, it's all about saving the cheese right now. God, I love cheese. Well, not always, Mike. I mean, sometimes you want a DoorDash. I mean, I get it. I get that sometimes you want delivery. And DoorDash seems to be the only delivery now because it used to be you could get uh Chinese food would always deliver, pizza would always deliver. Some Italian places would deliver with pizza, or you could get like calzones and real food. But oh God, Justine, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's totally fine. Like I'm not um I'm again, the point behind that story was not my marriage and divorce. The point behind that story was you can meet people at concerts, even if you're tweaking on 4 hits of acid. Like my point was Jacob complaining about not being able to meet people. And I was saying he should go to concerts. And I was saying I've met everyone I ever dated at a concert pretty much. And including my ex-husband, and the night I met him was at this Anthrax concert, which was hilarious because I was on 4 hits of acid, just like tripping balls. And I still managed to meet my future husband. So that's the point behind it. Go to concerts to meet people who share your interests, not the fact that I'm divorced. That should not be the takeaway from that conversation. Yeah, Marty, the French stand up for their rights like gangbusters, man. They are striking nonstop in France. It's crazy. If it's not a bank holiday, it's a protest. Thank you, Sherry. See, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's all about like we all need to just be better at cooking. Maybe that's why I look so young. Because I can cook. Because I don't eat fast food. I did give up fast food last century. Very few exceptions. I think I ate In-N-Out Burger up until they donated to Trump, but they have a higher quality food. And so that would have been what, 2016-ish. And then I mean, I still eat out. Like I'm eating burritos, don't get me wrong, but I'm not eating Taco Bell burritos. I quit eating corporate owned restaurants. I think that improved my food quality. And then I started cooking a lot, which very much improved my food quality. I went organic back in like 2000 and something. And so I think that makes a difference. Johnny, you always tap in too late, dude. I'm on my way out. A cab pulled up with food in the back and not a person. That's awesome, Justine. I mean, I'm not mad at food delivery. I feel like corporate owned restaurants are garbage. I feel like DoorDash is a corporate owned gig economy. And especially in California, after the passage of Prop 22, people are being treated like second class. Thank you, Amy. Right? 100%. People are being treated like second class employees. It's like a whole nother division of employee that is less than a regular employee. And so I'm not down with all of that. I'm not mad at anybody who occasionally DoorDashes something, but if you're somebody who uses it on the regular, I would suggest reconsidering your lifestyle choices. Okay, guys. Taco Bell food kits. You know what, Dan? I'll bet you a Taco Bell food kit is probably healthier than actual Taco Bell. But yeah. Trust me, learning how to cook is not that hard. Start simple. Make salads. That's what I'm doing. And then go from salads to eggs, because that's also super easy and super healthy. If you just make salads and eggs every day, oh my God, you'd be in the, like, that's what I'm eating. And apparently I look good. So not my words. Right, Tony? That's what I'm saying. Like, we all are, like, the whole reason we're all here is because we all love like essentially the same music. Right. And I mean, if you want to meet somebody compatible with you, you probably should look in a place where somebody already likes the music you like. Thank you, Carlton. 100%. Michelle. Oh, funny. I got married in Tilden Park. Since we're talking about my marriage so much today. Kidding. Oh my God, Amy, that drives me crazy all the time. I was actually at a club in the Castro, and this go-go dancer, I'm not kidding you, she door dashed a large fries to the club. I was like, how much did those fries cost you? Because that's crazy. But oh well. All right, guys. I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. Ooh, it's tomorrow Friday? Tomorrow's Friday. I might be too busy to tap in tomorrow. So if I don't, I will probably see you next week sometime. But have a good one.